My name is Dr. Ralph Wilson, practicing as Natural Connections Healthcare. I help people connect with their own healing powers and with resources that enhance their life experience. I've been a satisfied AcuGraph owner since 2008, and I enthusiastically offer that in Washington, D.C. It's quite portable. I have a public demonstration that I gave, and some footage might be able to be shown now. The next slide shows how I can set up and use the AcuGraph in any location, even the office. That's what this one picture shows. The next is about a marvelous experience I had in 2009. I traveled to Seattle and saw patients in the office of Doctors Tom and Helen Budzinski. And the website to learn more about his and her work is neuropioneers.com. They do quantitative EEG or QEEG, neurofeedback, brain mapping is one of the names. And I was really impressed with what they had to offer at their office and was glad to work there for a while. I'm now back in Washington, D.C. So this is some information about why I'm so impressed with the AcuGraph and how I use it in my practice. I've already done some footage which you might be able to superimpose on this of how I set it up at a public talk I gave the other day, and I was really pleased to be able to present the AcuGraph. Several people were able to see their own health concerns in a different way when I showed them the findings, so it's pretty great. I've prepared some slides that we may be able to superimpose on this as well, and the first one is simply giving thanks to Meridian Technology for creating the AcuGraph technology and the spin-off study programs, the Auriculo PC and the Points PC. The next slide here shows the computer laptop version of the AcuGraph and how it can be used. Knowledge is the key to why I'm really impressed with AcuGraph. Now I have a slide here about benefits, and I'll talk a little bit about the benefits for acupuncture practitioners, for other healthcare practitioners, and for the general public. First of all, for acupuncture practitioners in my own practice, it documents the findings that we've so commonly discovered with pulse, tongue, and perceptions. And this is helping us to document what we perceive. Let's see. Well, yeah, AcuGraph will also bring out things that we can't detect, by looking at the tongue and feeling the pulse. It actually talks about, gives information about the autonomic regulation of what's going on in the background. I like it because I can enhance my patient education. And the last item here is practice management details, which you can see when you go online for records keeping, ordering supplies, and even going in depth with your patient education with handouts you can generate with the software. The next slide here is about the benefits for other healthcare disciplines. When I give them the report, it will introduce AcuMeridian science to them in a different way than they've heard about. And very important for me is the neuroscience applications of looking at the autonomic nervous system and self-regulation. In the bottom here, I mentioned when I do consults for patients who've seen medical doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, counselors, and others, I'm able to help them see the emotional correspondences that can go along with the meridian disturbances that can be picked up. And the benefits for the general public who receive AcuGraph assessments, they can see the chi. I really like that slogan, see the chi. And it's true, they can get an idea about the complexity of their own health. And my thinking is that it will help them, encourage them to take better care of their physical body, because if you don't have that, you're not here. It's pretty basic, but what I tell my clients is that when we do stimulation with laser, electricity, magnets, or needles, it awakens the curiosity of the body's self-healing mechanism. And for one, we're used to expecting pain when we get needled, when we're stuck with a knife or a pin or something like that. And an acupuncture needle is something different. It's much thinner, almost like the thickness of a hair. and that awakens the body's curiosity. And well, I'm not being hurt here. What's going on? I say, and the second point here is that it's moving beyond simple balance in upregulating or downregulating an acupuncture point reading. It actually allows for a person's dynamic creativity of their innate self-regulating capability to get activated. So for professional growth, this is a shot of my study, and you can see with a widescreen monitor, you can actually use this to bring up online, of course. And then here you see simultaneously side by side, my screen is big enough to have the auricular PC and the points PC side by side. So if you're doing study, deeper research on acupuncture, meridians, this can be very handy. Next is something that I talk at length in some public talks. We're looking at Bjorn Nordenstrom's work. He's a medical doctor whom I met in the 1980s, and he discovered that the arteries and veins have different charges. That means there's a flow of electrons between the arteries and veins, thereby generating electromagnetic fields around every flow. So our body is a mass of electromagnetic fields. Basically, he proved that acupuncture is real. There's some electromagnetic phenomenon going on. So here, the slide is the fascia, the fascia, the fascia. The current of injury is something that a lot of doctors talk about to understand how acupuncture works. And this is a slide from Meridian Technology. It's a little graphic there, but I think it's a humorous way to begin looking at what is it that holds a slice of meat together, the fascia. And this is a slide show from PowerPoint from Meridian Technology, and I'm not going to go through every slide and talk about each one, but it's very amazing the way we can now look at imaging, computer-generated X-ray slices of the body, and seeing how the organs are covered with the fascia. Now, for me, and a lot of doctors were saying that the fascia is the key to the meridian system, and I say that I like this graphic illustration of how the meridians may actually be the function of hyaluronic acid within the body. We know it's in all the fascia, it's in the eyeballs and joints of our body, but it's especially in the tissues, and it's related to collagen and connective tissue. And hyaluronic acid may be held in place by the electromagnetic fields generated by the blood flow, and that concentration of hyaluronic acid may, in this diagram here, talks about it makes a high electrical conductivity zone. And so in that model, they're saying that the meridians are electrical, and I'm saying possibly the meridians are actually photon conduction through the clear crystalline hyaluronic acid that's in all the fascia. Science someday will show us what it is, which, or both. And hyaluronic acid theory is what I just described to you, being that possibly the hyaluronic acid forms the zones. And if you look here, this slide shows a product which is pure hyaluronic acid, which could be taken as a dietary supplement. I've seen many advertisements about people functioning better with hyaluronic acid supplements. Some say they got back to work, didn't need my cane anymore, that kind of thing. And they're saying it helps their joints. I'm saying possibly it's because the qi is enhanced. The flow of what's called qi, the function of qi, is improved when hyaluronic acid is in high concentration in the body. You can get hyaluronic acid in okra, taro, yams, and from boiling down beef joints and eyeballs and chickens, coxcombs, or this pure hyaluronic acid that's formed with a fermentation process can be purchased as well. I've been given free samples of this, so I do have an interest in it, but I don't own the company and I don't get stock. But I think it's really great stuff. And here are some further slides about what I'm hoping. We've already begun. Some AcuGraph users are assessing what changes there are in the AcuGraph readings when their clients, their patients are using hyaluronic acid. This next slide is about my website, where you can go and learn more about it. These things I just said to you are pretty much on the website there. And again, this is a testimonial that why I'm impressed by AcuGraph. benefits for acupuncture practitioners, other healthcare practitioners, and the general public. And for me, it's an encouragement to have hope for the future. That's the item number 4 that I added on this slide here. And children want to know how the world works, and I've had a really great time of visiting a nearby park, the Matties Hope Peace Park, a young child who died early in life, but he spent a lot of time with a lot of doctors and seeking things that could help him. You can go onto his website, and the URL is there, mattieonline.com, and he really wanted the world to pull together. The screen now shows some pictures from the Matties Hope Memorial Peace Park. It was a park put together to honor not just that young man, but the vision that children can make a difference in the world. If you listen to his voice in the recordings that are available, or read his poetry, or look online at mattie.com, you'll be able to learn more about the people who support the vision that this young man had. My slide here says that he sought knowledge and gained wisdom. He came a long way, and I'm just deeply impressed with the information there. You'll be able to see, if you look at the footage that I recorded, the playgrounds, slides, things for young children. There is a field on which you can play soccer or football. There are actually football fields with goals and bleachers so the parents can come. There's tennis courts, basketball nets of different sizes, even for young children, all meant to stimulate children's ability to move their bodies and to interact with other people, discover their own inner abilities, their own ability to face the limits, all those things that come with sporting activities, of which I'm very much in favor, done wisely, of course. This slide here of Matties' hope for the world. He trusted in medical science and had hope for the future of healthcare. He gave energy to helping world peace. His phrase there, peace is possible. It can begin simply over a game of chess and a cup of tea. And often he would say, remember to play after every storm. I think Mattie would have loved learning about acupuncture, acumeridians, and the ways that people can move their chi no matter what their health condition is. I think that healthcare practitioners, counselors, and all of us can do more to help people go beyond looking at symptoms. I'd like to have everyone learn more about the wonderful, functional gift of life that we've got. So we are amazingly intricate. This slide shows a quote that has moved me for many years now. It's from Hippocrates. It is more important to know what sort of person has a disease than to know what sort of disease a person has. So we treat the individual, and that's what acupuncture, acumeridian knowledge really focuses on, the functional health of the individual, not treating labels. So I'm thankful for this marvelous gift of life and very thankful for AcuGraphs. You're welcome to contact me for more information, to contact the folks at AcuGraph.com, Meridia Technology. And again, this is my testimony that I highly recommend all of their products.